Hi everyone, and welcome to Hollywood, Florida. Today we are going to take you on a stroll down one of the South Florida favorite beach destinations, the Hollywood Broadwalk. I feel like most people think of South Beach and that sort of vibe when they think about Miami. But I want to show you the more low-key side of South Florida beach life. It's super popular with both locals and tourists, and there's very few places like it left in America. We are starting from the southern end of the boardwalk. Since this is the end that's a little more residential and people are more likely to come here from this direction. There is also a large public parking lot down here, and as soon as you step into the brick, you are immediately next to one of the best stretches of public beach in America. If you've ever been to South Beach, then you know it's got something of a larger-than-life quality. People have always gone there because it's the place to be, even if it has changed a lot over the years. The Broadwalk has something similar going for it, but in a way, that's much more low-key. People come here because it has touch of the timeless, plus the pace of life is very normal. Of course, we all know it's 2025, but despite how much the world has changed in the last few decades, people here are still doing pretty much the same stuff they've always done. Families and friends come here to walk, eat, play, swim, and just to do things people have always enjoyed doing on the beach, without any of the extra fluff that people tend to associate with South Florida. It's easy accessible, it's surprisingly safe and family-friendly for how busy it gets, and most importantly, it's for everyone. The Broadwalk is undeniably the main landmark of the city of Hollywood. And here we are coming up on sort of a landmark within a landmark. This is the Blue Mickey House, and it has enough local notoriety to have some reviews on Google Maps. It's owned by Yolanta and Danny Kennedy, both of whom are very connected with the local community, and they are basically known for putting up really fun and impressive decoration displays around the holidays. I'm actually indebted to both of them in a way because they are some of the few people who have supported me the entire time since I first started working in real estate around 3 years ago now. They always took me seriously, so I just wanted to give them a quick shout out because they are wonderful people. Coming down a little further, to where the main part of Broadwalk really begins, here is where you start to see all the different shops. This is where you'd go if you are trying to buy beach essentials, snacks, souvenirs. This particular store we are in is the largest out of all these beach shops, but there is a few scattered along the Broadwalk for your convenience. Here I'm stopping to grab a little souvenir for myself. Just outside of here, but also scattered all along the Broadwalk, are these public showers to rinse off the sand when you are getting off the beach. Not much to say about them aside that they are all kept remarkably clean and they work well for how much use they see. Right here we have the Bike Shack, which is probably the most popular bike and carriage rental along the Broadwalk. As you've probably been able to pick up from the video, the beach walk is super popular with bike riders, rollerbladers, and really just anyone trying to joyride on wheels along the beach. Now here, if you've ever passed by this place at peak business hours, you remembered that it's here. Specializing in loud music, strong drinks and good food, this is Mamacita's Latin Bar and Grill. This is a super popular spot on the weekends and during the holidays. They have a pretty sizable menu with classic Mexican and Cuban options, but their trademark dish is El Prago Entero, an entire red snapper fried whole served with rice and salad. Now, I do have to say this place can get seriously loud on live music nights. You can escape it in a little depending on where you are sitting in the restaurant, but be forewarned that it's just a loud place. This is also more or less the point where all the shopping and restaurants begin to pop up, and it stays pretty busy for around the next kilometer. The variety in terms of places to eat here is nice, and it's a large enough area that you actually have to do a little exploring to discover all of them. There is your bar and grills, Italian places, cafes, sushi, Peruvian food, Mexican, Greek, Caribbean, different types of ice cream. You get the idea. Right here we have a kosher ice cream shop that also does pizzas and paninis, right next to 7 tables by the beach, which, juggling from the Google reviews and lack of a website, is a strong contender for the best Peruvian place in the area. I feel like the only thing that's missing to round things out would be a nice casual Chinese place that does lo mein and dim sum. Just throwing the idea out there. Here we've come to the midpoint of the Broadwalk, the Hollywood stage and plaza right by Margaritaville. At this point, we've walked just under 1.5 kilometers or just under 1 mile. And this is basically the center of the Broadwalk. Again, there is food and shopping, but this is also a good spot to park if you're coming with your car. It's also covered parking, unlike the lot of the southern end, so that's something to keep in mind if that matters to you. This is also where a lot of the local hotels are clustered. It's a popular place for families to gather during the holidays or on the nights when they do live music. And there is also some good spots to eat right around here. We stopped at Puffle's Hong Kong ice cream and watched the process of how they prepare their ice cream. Here's them baking the waffle and then filling it with the ice cream. They have a huge selection of toppings, but I choose to not get any. I mentioned before how this area really is surprisingly safe and clean for how busy it stays throughout the year, and part of that is due to the presence of the beach and boardwalk patrol. I'm not sure how many are out at any given time, but you'll see them around if you spend a day here. A little further down from here, we pass by some more restaurants and stores, and now we've reached Chernov Park, which has a splash pad area for the kids, as well as some courts for paddleball. Once you get past here, the next kilometer or so starts to transition back to mostly short-term rentals and hotels, and things are calmer and quieter. There are still some places to eat up here, but it's definitely much more residential. This is where you'll find places like the Villas of Positano and other high-end condos because it's peaceful, convenient, and the location offers residents an undisturbed view of the ocean. That was it for this quick tour of the Broadwalk. As someone who spent a pretty large chunk of my life here in South Florida, I feel qualified to say that this is one of the nicer parts of the Miami area for how normal it feels. If you are looking to relocate to South Florida for the beach life and the international vibes, but you don't necessarily want all the hecticness of city life, then Hollywood may just be the place for you. Thank you for joining on this short little tour of local and regional gem, and if you have any interest in buying or selling property down here, please don't hesitate to give me a call. Thank you all for watching and see you in the next video.